Hello, good evening and welcome everyone. For the very first time in a very long time, we are actually broadcasting Hallelujah, 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 Hallelujah in ITC for GPVWC. Very well and welcome to everyone. My name's Simon Smith, dragging you kicking and screaming through a triple tet race of action here at Manfeild Course Park over in New Zealand for the latest round of the Touring Car Championship. Tonight, though, I am joined by a special guest who is cameraman extraordinaire and co-commentator. It's Joshy Washy Anderson. How you doing, mate?
I'm alright.
And I don't think... Have we done comms together properly? I don't think
we have.
No, it was going to happen when the infamous... My pub at the end of the road burst into flames in a dodgy insurance job, and I don't think we've been on the air since. So no one died, we're all okay. But it's been a fantastic ITC so far. Just to get you all catching up with the standings, Extrani leads after 12 races by 27 points. Quite a big lead over Adrian Holm. Sven de Vries is in third, ahead of John Munro, Lewis McGlade, Matt Richards, Kevin Siggy, Chris Butcher, Gergo Baldi, and Augustine Canapino rounding up your top 10. In the teams, it is THR leading by just the 8 points from Ice Cold Racing. But those two teams so far clear of Aurora in third, Mazurek in fourth, and Vodbol in fifth, that quite frankly, I could stick my waistline between the two teams and there would be room for spare. Who are you looking out for tonight, Josh?
Oh, well, there's been obviously Kevin Siggy, who's on pole, is obviously one to watch, but you know, there's a lot of people like Matt Richards, Sven de Vries, lots of guys who were good last race. So there's a couple of new faces on the grid worth watching, and Andrew Waring's looked very good pace-wise as well for THR, so watch him as well. Oh,
yeah. Good shouts, good shouts. The top 24 on the grid, separated by 9.5 tenths of a second. I think that is quite easily the closest grid that we've had for a very long time here at GPVWC. So really looking forward to that. And we're just about to go to the grid now, I think. Are we? It's a hanging. It's a hanging. Oh no, I think we're waiting for someone. Ah, there we go. A couple of people just crashing out, not to worry. Oh, Nico Beaver's crashed. I crashed into a beaver. So, in fact, was it a beaver, was it a groundhog, or was it just a errant furry animal in the Canadian Grand Prix that stole the highlight, very much like the pigeon from last year's Monaco Grand Prix? Maybe our factor should start to have random animals appearing on the circuit.
Either that or turn the sprinklers on every so often.
And it was a little bit wet in the practice sessions beforehand, and it was dark clouds overhead, so your sprinkler system may well come into effect, Josh.
It might, and that might throw a spanner in the works.
Plenty of us know a spanner or two, but we don't want them in the works. Please send in your tweets, hashtag GPVWC or GPVWC Live, either or. We are quite happy to enjoy your Twitter-aroos coming in. It's nice to be back on the air for touring cars. We're approaching the halfway point in this championship, which is why it's starting to get real crunch time. It's a difficult one because Strani's had 4 wins against Adrian's 2, and has really laid down the gauntlet in terms of how consistent you can be around the circuits that we've got, especially if you've reverse grids and things like that. 25 points for a win, all the way down to 15th, which gets a final point, which is a revision compared to the previous seasons where the top 20 would score. So the stakes are higher. Those stakes are certainly going to be burnt out there tonight. Penalties being added on before we go green. I do like this Manfeild Park circuit, though. I've had some fond memories of it back in our previous iteration as a Gentleman's Racing Club. I ran as high as 4th in a backmarker brigade car. I got dizzy heights, had a nosebleed, dropped back down again to about 10th. But really nice flow to the circuit and good challenge.
Attention grid, all non-essential personnel leave the grid now.
15 laps of high octane action about to come kicking and screaming your way. And it is dry, which I think most people will be delighted of. You had much truck with this circuit, Josh?
Oh, well, I've run a V8 Supercars race or two here before, and obviously that's not necessarily my forte, quite powerful vehicles, but it's a lovely little track, nice and short though, so we should get plenty of laps in and hopefully some good racing.
We will indeed, and it'll be quick to go through the grid as quickly as possible. Kevin Siggy then as pole position, as Josh was saying earlier, for Enterprise, ahead of Eric Strane, our championship leader for Ice Cold in second. Lars Brookman third for Missouri, ahead of Andrew Waring for THR. Matt Richards is in fifth for Cosmo, ahead of the epics of Chris Shepherd and Jeffrey Fournier. Sebastian Foucault is in eighth for Downforce, a new face to the season. Ahead of Augustine Canapino and John Monroe rounding out the top 10 for THR. And it's Lewis McGlade and Gerhard Batil for Zedfrick in 12. Ben Hackerson ahead of Chris Butcher for 13 and 14. The triple 20s of James Kirk and Bart DeVos round out the top half of the grid for triple 20. Who else do we go for? Let's continue on down. So we've got Sandeep Choba in 17th position for Walters Automotive. Tim Parker 18th for CSG. David Tapper 19th for Vodbull. And then Sven de Vries 20th for Aurora. Nicholas Bever in 21st for Downforce, ahead of CSG's Cameron Brewster. Then it's Daniel Shiranku, for Enterprise, ahead of Tobias Olsen for Bastvik. Rainer Murray for TTF. Rob Mason's YTF1. David Yunt is in 27th for Aurora, ahead of Menno Klont, Mike Bell and Joel Pereira for Apex, rounding out the top 30. The back of your grid filled out by TTF's Wesley Morris doing his first start for ITC, Jack Mayer in 32nd, MTR's Wookie Hoekstra in 33rd, ahead of Florian Engel for Kerno, Edward Batalla for Zaduric, and Sam Jones rounds out the back of the grid for Cosmo in that beautifully levered car, whose team boss may be sitting on tenterhooks as we come to the grid.
Maybe.
Any expectations of points, sir?
Well, I think Matt could definitely get some good points. Sam, I think he'd be lucky if I'm going to be brutally honest, but you never know. You never know. Something miraculous could happen.
Top and tail it, mate. 15 laps then. Someone's overshot their grid spot, which is why being held up. There we go. We are coming up to the lights then for round 1 of 3 for the Manfeild Park circuit. Here in New Zealand, the ITC round is about to get underway. Now! Off and away we go. Strane bogs down slightly with the extra weight, and that's allowed Siggy to pull directly into the lead. Brookman's had a slow one though, and that's Cosmo's. Matt Richards trying to get down the inside. He's up into full already. Is he going to try and dive into third? Yes, he is. Waring goes around the outside. Brookman gets pincered down into 5th position. There's contact further back, and a couple of drivers have run a bit wide. But it looks as though everyone is through. It's Engel that's gone off, who's down to last. Wesley Morris is facing the wrong way in the grass, so he's the last man in 36. But up front, it is Siggy ahead of Strane. Then it's Richards, Waring, Brookman, Fournier, Shepherd, Monroe, Canapino and McGlade, and that is Monroe getting past Shepherd for 7th and 8th positions. Someone lagging through the screen, but he is actually not really there. Pereira running out wide as we go into the back straight. These corners all bleed one into the other, and Strane's going out the inside of Siggy. Strane takes the lead for Ice Cold Racing at the end of lap 1. Now he's got to make sure that he keeps the lead all the way down the straight. He's got Matt Richards all over the back of him in 3rd position for Cosmo. He wants to go to the outside line. Siggy stays into the middle. Strane goes defensive. You can take so many different lines around this corner because look at the camber as you come to the exit, and Siggy doesn't know quite which way to go, and Strane's going to end up on the outside, and we're going to be 3 wide as we cross the line at the end of lap 1. What a classic race so far. Siggy takes the lead, but will Richards go from 3rd to 1st in 2 corners straight? He's diving down the inside and he takes the lead. Matt Richards then leads from Siggy, Strane, Waring. Brookman is up to 5th, then it's Fournier, Monroe, Shepherd, McGlade and Canapino, with Foucault, Batal, Butcher, Hackerson and Parker up to 15th off the back of the grid. Everyone did survive, although Joel Pereira's off at the final corner and lost his front bumper down to 36th, just rejoining back on the track now. Waring is trying to stick his front nose down the inside of Strane for 3rd and 4th. That did not work though. Strane pulls to the outside line. He's now going to try and go the long way round. If you can keep the speed going, the grip can be there, but he's going to be slightly wrong-footed because Siggy was having half a look at Richards. So much lock-up going into that turn. as Parker runs out wide and drops right down the order. Oh no, it's Foucault. Sebastian Foucault's gone off. He's dropped from 11th to 21st. So a trip across the gravel there for him, and that's dropped him out of the points, which is not grand for him. However, back up front, Richard still leads the way there in the Cosmo. He has no penalty weight, and neither does Siggy or Waring, and they've now popped up into the top 3 positions. Strane's in 4th, but he's got Lars Brugman all over him, and Brugman's going to dive through. Is he? No, he's not. Strane closes the door quite firmly and abruptly and says, nope, you're not coming through, mate, and practically jumps him off like a Jew. Then we've got Fournier and Shepherd behind in the Epic Racing's line astern in those beautiful pink and purpley cars, which I love so much. And they're actually pulling out a slight gap over the Monroe McGlade, and in its battle actually in 10th position, holding up the rest of the field behind with Butcher, Hackerson, Parker, De Vos and De Vries. They're your point scoring positions. Someone is not on the grass, it just looked like it from afar. But it is certainly all different stuff up front, and your man's up front there.
He is, he is. He's right up there, first place. Well, that's obviously going to be good for him, but he's got Siggy, and then he's got Warren right behind him. He's got quite a bit of pressure, as locks up quite badly going in the corner, but then again, these are front-wheel drives. You do tend to lock up in them.
They are, and the good thing with front-wheel drives is that you can't be late on the brakes and kind of muscle the cars in. And with the straight line speed advantage that generally a front wheel drive car has to make up for its lack of handling, that really helps. Siggy there bumps Richards round a little bit, unfortunately, down into turn 1 and 2, a little bit messy, but Waring there is busy trying to capitalise on any mistake or any slight lift off that Kevin Siggy has to do in that Enterprise GP touring car. But they're starting to snake themselves out now. The top 7, have pulled themselves out. A nice little gap. Monroe's starting to close himself back in again, where they're all starting to concertina back and forth, where their moves working and then subsequently not working, holding each other up. Waring has another little look at Siggy down at turn second to last, and Siggy running out so wide it's almost like he could see him coming and just went, oh go on then, off you go, I'll have you down the next straight maybe. But will he be able to do so, because Waring looks like he's really got a decent advantage, and indeed he holds it into that final corner. Siggy having to back off mid-corner, and that's actually allowed Waring to get a teeny tiny bit of gap. Strane now back on the offensive as they cross the line to start lap 5 of 15. 1/3 distance nearly complete already. Strane not pulling out to have a little look. Brugman's behind, and it's Fournier, and we've lost one of the Epics. Where's he gone? Chris Shepherd's down to 11th, and Batil's gone off in front of him, and Butcher and Shepherd's off. Oh dearie me, that's all gone wrong, and Batil, where has he dived down to? 24th, and that's terrible...
I think Junge has collected Batal there, and there's a bit of all kinds of havoc going down turn 1.
It's Olsen, it's Muru, it's Jones, it's everyone in there. So I think if you've still got a front bumper after the end of that, you're doing well. What that has done is...
more havoc there. Mason's just gone off. Mason's just gone off, he's down in 22nd.
That's not great. That's not great, unfortunately. He was complaining earlier on that he was having a real issue with the setup in the chat before we got going. And clearly that has borne its fruit, unfortunately, as it's still Richards, Waring, Siggy, Strane, Brugman, Fournier, Monroe, McGlade, Parker and Butcher now your top 10. Chris Shepherd's down to 11th after his earlier contretemps, although he's having a good look at Butcher. Didn't quite get the job done there at the end of lap 5, but Chris Butcher's all over the back of Parker, and is that someone going through it? Oh, it was Strane going past Siggy but not being able to stick, so Siggy stays in 3rd, back up to 9th position, and Tom Parker through on Chris Butcher, got the inside line, a little bit tailfish happy on the exit, and Parker's got the inside line for the first of this little snaky corners. Butcher will have for the bigger braking opportunity. If Parker can continue on ahead, he's got it. And he's got it for now. Butcher's going to steam it down the inside anyway. A little bit of a love nudge to tap him out of the way. I don't think that will go down well. Rubbing can be racing in ITC, but if you rub too much, you only cause yourself a mess. And Chris Shepherd is waiting for that to all go horribly wrong so that he can retake that position. Retake the position is exactly what Strane's just done. He's up into 3rd place now. He's got back past Kevin Siggy, and Andrew Waring's having to go at the lead for Matt Richards. I'll just rename you there, Matt, sorry. But there we go, as we cross the line to complete lap 6 of 15. And Waring sizing up Richards. Only a tiny guy, it won't take long. Down the outside will go Andrew Waring. Nothing doing there. Behind, Strane still holds off Siggy and Brugman. That was all a bit close behind. Fournier, Munro, McGlade. Then it's Parker, Butcher and Shepherd. All nose to tail, and Shepherd's nearly pushing Butcher round there. It didn't quite work. James Kirk's just passed Ben Hackerson for 15th and 16th position, so there's a change there. Canapino's up into the points in 13th with all that. And just outside the points, we've got Cameron Brewster and Nicholas Bever all battling over the last couple of points paying positions. So that's going to be fascinating. Menno Klontz just gone off the track and rejoined in 24th. Rob Mason just squeezing past there, and Jack Mayer's just gone off the track trying to overtake Mainu Muru for 28th and 29th, so that's not worked out well for him. Just the one retirement, and it's Joel Pereira, who's just been joined by Gerhard Batel, so that's unfortunate, and Florian Engels just spun off in 33rd.
Ooh, Richards just trying to save it there, lost a bit of the front end, coming out the back corner. Waring's going to have a right good go at him, come down, he's got it, I think.
You don't want to see that. See, even the shock of the team boss going, I want my leads back. As it comes down to complete lap 7, start lap 8, and into the lead goes Andrew Waring for THR. THR, a formidable team in ITC. They have history of wins and of plenty of stuff, but that slide through, I tell you what, he's practically hooning through some of these corners, is Andrew. It depends how you set up your car, and sometimes tyre wear can be an issue at some of these circuits, especially some of the longer ones, as Parker in 10th position has been beaten by Chris Butcher and then being beaten the other way by Chris Shepherd. So between being butchered by Shepherd, Paul Parker is losing out as Waring and Richards go side by side for the lead again. Ooh. Richards out wide onto the grass, and that will lose him momentum down the straight, Josh.
That won't help him, no. He has a chance down the back straight, but he's going to have to close that gap up if he wants to have a go. I mean, the gap's 0.4 per second. It's not undoable, and someone can make a mistake, but no, that doesn't seem to happen, so he's got the straight to try and get that lead back.
Diggy's behind Brugman in all of that. Didn't spot that one, but he's going for a move to try and retake his 4th position. Down the outside, he's got half a car alongside. I don't think he's going to be late enough on the brakes, or is he? He's going to go wheel to wheel with the Mazurek Racing driver, but the Mazurek driver just pushes him off to the side and brushes him off like a naughty fly on your dinner. Yeah, you don't want to know what flies do on your dinner. Look it up on the internet. Back for 10th position. Chris Shepherd's got round Tom Parker in a great move round the outside. That was going on for 3 or 4 corners. He's done it now. Behind, who was that changing position? It's Sven de Vries passing James Kirk for 14th and 15th positions. Behind is Brewster, Bever and Tapper have just joined on, as has Yunt and Choda. And we've just lost Mike Bell as our 3rd retirement. He's just disconnected, I believe. So that's the end of that. As here's the battle for 3rd. We're at it again. Brugman and Strane. Brugman's got round Eric Strane. The Mazurek 4, Ice Cold 4, and Siggy 5 for Enterprise. Different lines into the final corner, and I think that will see Brugman get really, really poor traction out of that and be up for a potential problem down at the end of the straight. Matt Richards following Andrew Waring across the line to complete lap 9 and start lap 10. He's going round the outside! Oh, that was last of the late breakers. Didn't quite get it through, but his nose was definitely ahead again for the first time in a couple of laps. Brugman keeps ahead of Strane and Siggy. Fournier still ahead of Munro and McGlade for 6, 7 and 8. Butcher's in 9. He's pulled away from Shepherd, Parker, Canapino. Then it's DeVos 13, De Vries 14th, Kirk 15, who's got Brewster, Bever, Tapper, Junt and Choda behind. Then it's Hackerson, Mason, Foucault, and it's Daniel Jiranku, sorry. I will get it right. It's one of those CZ names that confuses you in Poland. Or the Eastern Bloc, at least for Enterprise. He was facing the wrong way at turn 1. He's rejoined in 25th, which is a shame because he was just about to battle for some points. However, he can still grab another fine finish on his debut, so to speak. And Canapino, I think, is about to overtake Tom Parker. No, he's not done so for 11th and 12th. Back up for the battle for 3rd, and that's looking like a train.
Yeah, there's good. Brugman's there in front of Strana and then Siggy. There's 3 wide at this corner here, and well, looks like Brugman's got it for now. that front wheel drive is obviously going to help the stability through the corner. They're much easier to drive vehicles, of course, than the rear wheel drive, where you've got all the power going to the back wheels.
They have indeed, and all the power's going into 11th position for Canapino as he takes Tom Parker down into turn 1. Next up for him to shuffle down is Bart DeVos for triple 20, who is always there or thereabouts in the points. I just spotted someone else going off the track. It was Jack Mayer, and that's Whoopke Hoekstra taking him for 29th position out of the final corner. Jack Mayer, who done his first Super League race 2 races ago, didn't last long at the Canadian Grand Prix. He's having a dive back through on Whoopke, and that looks out of control. A little bit of a love budge, but it's all going on there right at the back of the field. Someone else is off the track as well. It was Dowie Tapper, who's just rejoined in 23rd place after a spin in the midfield. Matt Richards back up front for the lead, trying the long way around the outside in that final corner. So many different lines. It's one of the beauties of this Manfeild circuit. It's short, twist and turny. It's a bit like a go-kart track, only for touring cars. But it's one that you can really get your teeth into and enjoy. And once again, Richards trying the long way round. Didn't work for him, but for Strana, he's going for the inside for third, and he's taking Lars Brugman and up into third position. Comes back Eric Strana. He's got 45 kilograms of penalty weight, which is why this is being very impressive. They've lost time to the Waring and Richards battle, but what that has done is put Strana back in that chance for a podium position. Someone else swapped positions momentarily. I think it was Fournier and Munro. Munro flashing his lights at Fournier there, so something's gone wrong. As here comes Brugman onto the back of Strane. Strane's not quite got the traction out of the slower corners due to the penalty weight that he has, and that's causing him issues. Oh, someone's off the track. It's Ben Hackerson. He's showing his 5th position, but he's not. He's a lap down. He's stranded at one of the final corners, so no one run wide, for goodness sake. There we go. They go past the stricken YTF1 driver and across the line to start lap 13 of 15. So close, it's ticking on down. What would you shout to your driver if you could hear you now, Josh?
Blow it, man!
Excellent stuff. Oh dear. Canapino for 11th position, diving through on Chris Shepherd for 10. That's a beautiful move. Canapino may have gone a bit deep though. Shepherd bumped him on the apex, as if to say, I want to get my nose in and try and lean on you for the exit. It's kind of worked though, and Canapino's a little bit too nice on the first part of those. He's been a bit more leery now, and sometimes in ITC we expect a little bit of bashing of wheels and love nudging, but Canapino done that the nice way. Well done, showing you class there. Everyone's favourite strawberry sweet named man.
Oh, McGlade here on Monroe for 7th.
Oh, he is. Those two have been nose to tail for quite a while, but he's not really had a look, and that was his first go at it, wasn't it?
Yep, he's having a good... He might have a chance here again down the back straight. Oh, he's tries to go around the outside, so that thinks better of it, evidently. Trying to get a good run out of here, and he's right beside him here.
That was a good piece of traction out of that final corner. Was able to get right into the groove, hook the car in the middle, and the Ice Cold Racing driver takes 7th position away from the THR. Now those are the two big team battles that are going on. So the fact that THR's Andrew Waring is leading this and Ice Cold Strane is in 3rd, they're kind of at the moment a bit like the B team in this race, sorting out how the lower end of the points is work, and that's going to be absolutely critical for the constructors. A Siggy down the inside of Brugman takes 4th position. Last of the late breakers, worked really well. What that has done with this Strane Siggy Brugman thing is actually allow Fournier, McGlade and Munro to rejoin back up to this squabble. So it's 3rd to 8th, all in a line. This is the kind of racing you get at Manfeild. To be fair, Kirk and Beaver are side by side for 14th and 15th positions, and I think Beaver's going to try and go around the outside of Kirk. Didn't work though, he's run out wide, and so Kirk keeps the final points paying position for now. On to the last lap though, and the chances are running out for Matt Richards to overtake Andrew Waring. We cross the line, one more stab down into turn 1, and there's really about 3 other opportunities where you can do a last minute lunge. Richards though poppies out of that one very early on, as if he wants to then try and do for a really, really extremely acceleration out of turn 1. Is it helping? I'm not sure. Side by side, Siggy and Strane behind, and Siggy's got third away from Strane, who had to floor it on the brakes to make sure that he didn't smack the back. Richards runs out wide, though, in the battle for the lead to try and get a long slot round. No traffic up ahead to be lapped. This has been a lovely, clean race by all of the drivers to stay on the lead lap. And Richards has really got, now after this corner, one last one to go. Where he's run out wide! He's run out wide. Richards has got a fantastic exit out of that second to last corner, and now it's a drag race. THR versus Cosmo, Waring versus Richards, down. Richards goes in for one last final breath of fresh air in the slipstream, going for the outside line. Waring defends the inside so hard it hurts. Comes out, defends the apex, and that is Matt Richards being blocked. Andrew Waring puts his car in all the right places and takes round 1's victory here for THR. And a fantastic duel from Matt Richards. Third for Kevin Siggy, 4 Eric Strane, 5th Lars Brugman, Jeffrey Fournier 6th, McGlade 7, Munro down to 8th in the end of all of that. Chris Butcher grabs a lonely 9th after his early battles. And then all kinds of stuff's just gone on. I think people have just immediately, well, Canapino stopped immediately on the line there. It's weird. So Chris Shepherd grabs 11, Parker 12, DeFries 13, DeVos 14, Nicholas Bever grabs 15th from James Kirk on the last lap. So Kirk misses out on points in his triple 20 car. Then it's David Yunt, Cameron Brewster 18th, still only 19 seconds off the winner. Despite field spread and all of that. Sebastian Foucault there ends up in 19th after his spin. He'll be disappointed with that. Rob Mason 20th after his early spin. Choda 21st. Tapper. Shiranku then in 23rd ahead of Klont. Then it's Reinu Muru 25. Batilla 26. Hoekstra 27. Mayer 28. Wesley Morris 29. Just 2 tenths ahead of Tobias Olsen and Florian Engel. Sam Jones then is 32nd. Ben Hackerson has crossed the line 1 lap down after his weird I parked it on the final corner, with Bell Battelle and Pereira your big retirements. What a corker!
Yeah, it's something. I think we're getting used to this whole very close racing malarkey in ITC, aren't we?
Disgraceful. And it relatively well behaved too. But how about that though? Nice little podium finish for your guy.
Yeah, he was very, very close to winning it. Obviously, hats off to Matt. You know, almost got there, but there's still 2 more races tonight. I think he's definitely found the front-wheel drive beneficial, though. I mean, having done the first few races for MTR and the rear-wheel drive BMW, and then coming over to the Chevrolet, I think he's had some success. He's finding something, all right.
Doing nicely enough indeed. And well, classic racing up and down the field. And Tom Parker just popping into the old chat room as everyone continues on. But actually, quite a lot of the drivers looked like they were driving sideways for a lot of that race. There was an awful lot of sliding through the corners, and it's very impressive to see the car control of the drivers out there.
Yeah, there was a lot of sliding, especially with them front-wheel drives. You wouldn't expect that normally, would you? You'd expect them to understeer everywhere rather than oversteer. But obviously someone with a setup will have done that. It kind of helps, actually, having oversteer on a front-wheel drive. Kind of counteracts some of the understeer you get normally. But, of course, then there's the threat of losing the back end as well.
And, well, although some of my friends may disagree, losing your back end is not a good way to go around the plains of Manfeild circuit. So, now that you've got penalty weight on for the old race 2, Matt Richards will definitely have a fair chunk of a hunk on. How does that change your driving style and the way how you approach the next race coming up in the race 2 of 3 this evening?
Well, obviously, more weight is going to mean your car's slower. It's going to use more fuel. It's going to wear the tyres out more. You really, when you've got penalty weight, unless you are nothing short of an alien, you're going to likely, if you're being a realist, think the win's out of reach if you've done well in race 1. But you never know. Someone with weight, if it's only 9 kilograms, could pull something off. But when you have weight, it's very much a case of, right, I've got to take a step back here and try not to be as garish, I think.
And if anyone has any suggestions about how to carry weight without looking garish, could you please message me on Facebook because I need to get rid of these moobs somehow. So, did anyone else particularly stand out for you in that race there, Josh? Because there was plenty of action up and down the field. But anyone in particular that wasn't in maybe the top collective couple of drivers that you kind of went, oh, done well?
Definitely Gerhard Patel at the start. He definitely held his own very well. I think he might have had an incident towards the end that I think he might have got caught up in that massive carnage at turn one late in the early goings. That was him. Yeah, he was running well until then though. So definitely could be one to look out for if race 2 goes his way.
Well, calling the shots, Joshua Anderson and Mr. Smeon Smithy. And plenty of high-octane action ready to go. We're just entering into the warm-up session. There is still the threat of rain here this evening at the New Zealand section of the ITC calendar. After this, we are off to Japan for Suzuka. That does mark the halfway point of the season. It's 12 rounds here. Then Jerez, Zolder, the Red Bull Ring, which I will still call the A1 ring just out of energy drink angriness. Then Varano, Montreal. When we round off this season in Portland, any of those particular races that are coming up on the season that you would particularly like to be out there hacking the wheel in angering?
Oh, well, I'd like to be driving to any of them really, but unfortunately I won't be. So I think Japan will be an interesting one to watch because I don't think we've ever driven Suzuka in touring cars. It was Sugo last time around, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting one. And Portland as well. That's another track we've never had here at GPV, I think. So, all change and hopefully provide some good racing.
Definitely. And the Suzuka one, because it's 21 laps, I'm imagining it will be the East Circuit. So it's just doing the S's and then coming around and going again. I've done that before in Gentleman's Racing Club, which was where our ITC league originated from. If you're drawing a family tree, that would be at the top. And it has provided plenty of good racing because you can essentially go side by side throughout the entire lap and just hope for the best. Not always the fastest way, but definitely one of the most entertaining.
Yeah, it's quite a short track as well, like this, so maybe we'll see some moves similar to the ones we've seen here. I mean, you've got chicane sections on this track, you've got the one coming out of turn 1, nice little complex there, you've got obviously just the S's from Suzuka and the short track, so could see some interesting racing there as well, not dissimilar to what we've seen here, maybe some of the more frenetic driving that we've seen so far today.
And similar circuits as well. What was you saying with the S's? You'd imagine the same type of drivers with their specific style that go well around those types of corners. We'll probably do the same at Suzuka too. And potentially around Zolder. Jerez, though, is a completely different beast. And if it's the circuit that I remember well, that gravel is hell.
Yeah, I mean, there's several tracks that, the gravel is quite, viscous to say the least on. I think Brands Hatch Indian GRC was one. You get stuck in that, you are not getting out again unless you have a tow truck.
Well, I'm going to eat myself a Rolo cookie just so that you can, because you've got the word viscous into a broadcast, which actually is quite impressive. So, as it's your first time on the air, I think we should do a "What's It About a Joshy Washy" little mini segment and ask you some questions. So, what was the first piece of motor racing that you came across?
First piece of motor racing, I do remember watching the Formula One as, I was obviously, seen as I was born in 1997, it would have been Schumacher Hakkinen, the 2000s, and I just remember watching it and cheering Michael on because he was everyone's childhood hero, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my first proper vague memory of Formula One. And then I remember, I think it was Formula One 99 for the PS1 I had as well, that I ended up playing a lot. That's really what really started things, I guess. But after that, the rest is history.
And would you say F1 99 was your first attempt at sim racing?
I suppose it was. I don't think I was very good at it, and I suppose that hasn't changed, but, humble beginnings.
The F1 99 game was the first game to have a safety car in it, so there's thoughts in that.
It was, yeah, and that didn't reappear until Formula 1 2011.
No, exactly, and they still can't get the frigging thing right now, can they? So,
No, they can't.
it worked fine in 1999. Who knew? Who knew? Actually, just whilst we're talking about F1 games, are you going to be looking at getting the new F1 2015 one that comes out? Because although I've pre-ordered it for PC, I'm slightly suspicious it may be a wee bit lacking in the feature department.
Yeah, I think this is the first Formula 1 game I'm actually going to give a miss until after I've seen some proper finalised gameplay footage and other people's opinions, because I'm just not that sure. I mean, it looks good graphically, and I think the physics should be fine, but I'm not sure, that's the thing.
Well, I'm sure I'll be sticking up some dodgy YouTube clips of me crashing into something at some point just so you can test out that. However, you won't be playing as a Marussia on day one, which I feel is a travesty. We've just come to the end of the warm-up session. We'll be doing part 2 of Joshy Washy, Who Are You? In between races 2 and 3. If you've got a question for who is Joshy Washy, please do send it in under the hashtag GPVWC. I am on the Twitters, waiting for your questions to come through. I'm just thinking, are we about to go to the race, or we will be in a second? Last time we had a broadcast and we were talking about random things, I had a job interview. I didn't get the job. However, I did make a particularly good twit of myself on the way out the door, because I went to go and, you know when you have your interview and you're all a bit hyperactive, so I went to go and leave, and then I realised I hadn't shaken everyone's hands and thanked them for their time. So I said aloud, "Oh Simon, you stupid sausage, you've mind your manners," and I decided to shake everyone's hands. So I think that may have not gone in my favour for getting the job, but it may have made me memorable. So hashtag interview tips would be grand too. Just waiting for a couple of drivers to rejoin. There does seem to be a wee bit of disconnect and reconnect hopping shenanigans going on this evening.
Yeah, hopefully that doesn't happen pre-race, otherwise, well, that's going to ruin someone's ruin someone's race, isn't it, if the disco right before it?
Oh, yeah, definitely, definitely. As long as it's not one of us either, that would be quite handy. I find it fascinating that actually when you look at some of the drivers that are not quite in the top echelon, quite a lot of them have got a did not start next to them through a disconnect. So you've got Gergo Boldi, Jeffrey Fournier, Chris Shepherd, Martin Palm, who's not here this evening for the first time this year, Tobias Olsen, several people with a DNS next to their name, normally down to a disconnect, or sometimes just a rage quit because they've had enough.
Attention grid, will all non-essential personnel leave the grid now.
So it's significantly darker because it is now 3 o'clock in the afternoon, although you'd imagine it would still actually be quite light. It just looked a bit tinted in Eric Strane's front row. For those who like the stats, we've got damage multiplier at 75%. We're racing at 3 PM in the day. The only thing that is allowed is auto clutch. Everything else is disallowed, and tyre wear is set to normal, thank God.
Anymore, and it'd have tyres popping everywhere.
Your
Well,
penalty.
I say that, but sometimes the tyre wear's alright.
I think it depends on just how much you like to hacksaw away at things, as Richard's quite slow off of the line. So the field going round in exactly the same order which they finished in. Just a couple of people towards the back. Scotty Moore there in the second of the apexes into the race. He didn't get in for race one, I believe, to actually get on the grid. He disconnected in between quali and warm-up. But it is wearing Richard, Siggy Strane, Brugman, Fournier, McGlade, Munro, Butcher and Canapino, your top 10, ahead of Shepherd, Parker, De Vries, DeVos, Bever, Kirk, Junt, Brewster, Fokar and Richard, Matt Mason, sorry, your top 20 are just mating drivers everywhere. The second half of the grid kicks off with Sandeep Choda, followed by Tapper, Sharanku, Klont, Muru, Batella, Hoekstra, Meyer, Morris, and Olsen, with the 31 position and down Florian Engel, Sam Jones, Ben Hackerson, Gerhard Batal, Joel Pereira and Scotty Moore. Hoping to be beamed up from 36 for those disappeared for me.
Looks like Chris Butcher's actually starting from the pit lane for whatever reason, so that's going to ballsy start up for certain.
Oh dear. Yes, he is. He's down at the end there for the Mazurek, and yeah, that's his race butchered already. Boom. Sorry.
Well, not necessarily. Well, points might be, a goal, but starting from the pit lane, never an advantage. Might not have made it out onto the grid in time as everyone just starts to take their grid places.
I do indeed. However, the saviour is the reverse grid for race 3. Although we'll have to get up into the top 10 to do that, as opposed to the top 20 as it was last year. In an effort to try to not have everyone crashing into each other, although it still happens these days. So, best of luck to the 36 racers. Here come the lights then for round 2 of the New Zealand part of the ITC. We are about to go racing now. Off and away we go, and Richard's a far better start than everyone around him, although Siggy's even better, and it's Richards versus Siggy down into turn 1, and Siggy's got it, surely. He's got a full car lengths ahead. Last on a late breakers, goes round and clips through ahead of Matt Richards, wearing to third. Then it's Strane and co. If there's some problems further back, no, we're okay. Martin Palmer has actually gone into the back there of in a torrent, so he is going in this race, and someone's round. That is, towards the back, that was Batalla. Went round and took Sam Jones and Pereira with him, so that is not great for them. Up the front though, it is Kevin Siggy from Richard, Strane, Waring, Brugman, McGlade, Fournier, Parker, Munro and De Vries. They're going 2 by 2 like Noah's Ark down into the second to last corner, but it's the first 3 are really the ones that are kind of in their little own mini race. Everyone else is having a right good scrapperoo behind, seeing if they can do the switcheroo down into the final corner. Richards takes a little peek out from Siggy, can't do anything. He's got to watch in his front and his rear because Strane is all over the back. Then it's Waring, then it's side by side. McGlade going around the outside of Brugman for 5th position. That's a classic move if McGlade can pull that one off, and indeed he has. Then pulls to the inside because he could see what Brugman was looking at doing, but Brugman's got to watch himself because Jeffrey Fournier's right there too in the Epic. He was there and thereabouts all the way through race 1. He's looking a bit more racy now for 2, and Waring there, a terrible run out from turn 1, and that's allowed McGlade and Fournier through, and Waring's down to 6th. He's tapped the back of Fournier. Can he hold it? Just about. That was proper rally action at its finest. Strane's past Richards as well, and Strane's now going for the lead. Strane versus Siggy. Where has Eric got this from? All he's done is lose a few pounds, and all of a sudden he's looked like he's the winner of Weight Watchers, going towards taking his certificate down into the second to last corner, and he's added into the lead. And that is why Eric Strane is leading the championship so far. As there's contact further back, it's Parker and Waring. Waring is dropping like a stone. He's down to 11th. I know he's got 45 kilograms of weight, but that is really shocking. 12th position now. Is this what weight does to you?
Well, I don't know. It just seems to be a dramatic decline. That's 11 places down when we start. We've lost Scotty Moore, unfortunately. But yeah, Andrew Waring's just absolutely fallen off, like fallen off a climbing wall when we've got no grip left. That's the best analogy I can do. I should stop. I'm no good at this, am I?
It's okay, it's just everyone will end up a bit injured by the time that analogy's finished, and probably in quite an emo way. It's all kicking off in the midfield, if I must say. They're going 3 and 2 abreast into turns 1 out of the final turn, and it's really, really dramatic where Andrew Waring is basically bottle corking the field. Rounder's gone Sven de Vries, Rounder's gone, through's gone Bart de Vos, through now is going Nicholas Bever up into 13th, Waring down to 14th now. Next up for him is Kirk, Junt, Folkart, Mason, Brewster and Olsen. They're just piling through. It's a real shame that clearly whatever setup issue he's got is just not working. Beaver there keeps going on. Someone's flashing their lights. I couldn't work out if that was Junt or Kirk. But side by side, Bever and Waring, as are De Vries and Parker ahead. Tom Parker going for 11th position. He wants that 10th. De Vries gives him plenty of room. Oh, and someone's off in the background and into the barriers. That's a huge smash. And that was Bever. Bever there rejoins down in 20th place. He just got the outside grass caught on his wheels. Down he goes. Through goes Hoekstra, Tapper and Co. Looks like Palm's going to try and get through up into 25th if he can make it. Just about. Bever there. That's going to be a struggle for him to get into points. He's just in between Hackerson and Palm, and Daniel Shiranku there involved in that too, with Clont and Batil just on the back. Chris Butcher update, he's up to 34th. He's passed Jones and Batalla already, so 2 positions made. Strane leads though by 6 tenths from Siggy. Then it is Richards in 3rd, holding on with McGlade into 4th. Fournier, Brugman, Munro, Canapino, Shepherd and De Vries your top 10, with Parker, DeVos, Junt, Waring, and now it's Rob Mason up into the points for YTF1. And for someone who was absolutely complaining that his setup was not really working for him, and he was left a little bit lonely in his team for YTF1 without much help from his peers, he's certainly showing a fine bit of form there up into the points, and now looking at trying to bear down at last race's winner.
Yeah, just to pick up on someone there, it was actually Tobias Olsen that went off in the Chevy there. He's got down to 19th. Speaking of Nico Bavay, he's in 24th, so understandable, but it was Olsen that went off.
Sebastian Foucault takes 16th away from James Kirk. So that is not going to work out for the Kirkables. Kirky gets it back though.
He's lost a bit of momentum there. Now he's under attack from Brewster in the Mercedes.
He is indeed. It's not. It's one of those circuits where, because one of the corners just kind of bleeds into the next one, if you get one wrong, or if you're slightly wrong-footed for one, it ruins the next one. Fournier on Richards for 4th position. And McGlade's already through. Missed that one entirely.
Oh, sorry, but I think I've been an idiot. I think it was Buffet. I think the overlay was just being a bit of an idiot.
Wow.
So you were right, Smithy. Stupid technology.
Slap it like a slappy thing. And 3 wide for 4th. And 5th position, Brugman, Fournier there, and Munro all going toe to toe. That's allowed the top 4 now to get away. Brugman, Fournier, Munro side by side again, but this time it looks like Brugman's got it. Munro's trying to go around the outside. Fournier's boxed in. He's got nowhere to go, Lavaggi style. And now he's got to really push out from the exit. Getso and Munro actually deciding discretion's a better part of valour. Down to 6th, immediately under attack from Canapino. Matt Richards now down to 8th. He clearly too struggling with some of this extra weight penalty that he has got in that Cosmo. And Chris Shepherd, trying a completely original racing line around that hairpin, has lost some time, but that will allow him to have an attack a little bit later on. Brugman and Fournier for 4th and 5th positions though, absolutely going at it hammer and tongs, and if they start working together a little bit, they may reel in McGlade. But Lewis there with a bit of clear run ahead of him is busy trying to haul in Siggy and Strane, and McGlade is actually reeling in the leaders at about a 10th per sector.
Yeah, Strane's really starting to run away with this now. McGlade's keeping up with Siggy well, I must add. This could be an ice cold one too.
Well, what do they call that? Freezing racing? I'm not sure. Once they cross the line, whatever it is, I'd bring a bucket. Fournier down the outside, then on Brugman for 4th and 5th positions, but that's going to leave him open for Munro. Punts him a little bit in the side there as he was running out wide. Flashes his lights, I think Fournier does. Quite a lot of flashing going on here, and none of it is giving me the skin that I wish for. Unfortunately, Munro looking a little bit more ragged, and it's just where you get the tiniest tap on the bodywork from the car by front or behind, and it leaves you wrong-footed and wrong-sighted. Canapino's there. Richards is still there in 8th position, although he's clinging on more than attacking. Then it's Shepherd's, and they've got to be careful because De Vries and Parker have stopped battling and are now reeling them in, with DeVos and Junt clinging onto the back. David Junt there in the Aurora has pulled up quite a few positions, is now to 13th, and Andrew Waring is the bottle cork for the rest of the field behind still with his chunky car. And that to me looks like Fournier's got the inside on Munro, who's tried to get through. And look at Canapino, he's going to try and do the pair of them, is he? No, he's not. Decides to go down the middle, and it's going to be Munro again that runs out wide and is going to be left a little bit high and dry. And has got to really watch out how he deals with turns 1 and 2 as McGlade has a go for second on Siggy. And he's got it! What a move! Down the inside, if he's got the traction on the exit, they're going to go toe to toe round the S's. Or are they? Because he's got the car in front. Beautifully done by McGlade. Excellently defended by Kevin Siggy. He knew exactly at what point to push and when to not. And this is a time to push because McGlade's left the door well and truly open. And he's going to slam himself right in there if he's not careful. But Siggy, he's got himself covered and stays in third for now. I don't think that one's over though.
Yeah, Chris Shepherd's managed to go up to 8th place. He's managed to get past Matt Richards. He made a fantastic move at the last corner on the last lap there. Absolutely fantastic move, even though it was on the own driver. Matt's down in 9th now. Still in good points paying position though. There's nice battles going on behind them as well. But the main focus has to be on the top 3 at the moment.
It does indeed, as Folkart got past Mason whilst all that was going on for 14th and 15th. And unfortunately, we've got Andrew Waring's just gone off the track and is down in 27th. So that's not good for him. Strane leads then, McGlade second, Siggy third. They're 2 seconds off. Strane now needs to up the pace because with McGlade, if McGlade can get a clear run at him and maybe take Siggy along for the ride, they could work together to close the gap. Fournier and Brugman still side by side. Someone tell them that's not the fastest way to go through. But it's by far the most entertaining. Canapino ahead of Munro though for 6th and 7th whilst all that shaking and shuffling was going on. Shepherd there, as you say, ahead of your man Matt Richards. And he's about to have a go at John Munro, who for the 2nd lap in a row has run very wide at that hairpin. And both the Epic Racing teams look like they're trying to mirror the same move down that straight.
Yeah, well, you know, good minds think alike, I guess.
Why not? Edward Patilla's been off the track again. That car's looking severely beaten up. And they're actually in... with him and Sam Jones at the speed that they're going at, could well end up being lapped right on the very last lap, judging by their pace. That will make things interesting. Is Brugman going to be pushed off? No, he's got 2 wheels on the curb there in 4th position, just about clings onto it. Fournier, Canapino, Munro and Shepherd all trying to position themselves. It's like a 150-mile-an-hour speed game of chess as they go speeding down to one turn one. That's nearly 4 wide. You couldn't do it. Canapino gets hit by Chris Shepherd and basically punts the poor oddball driver out of the way and says, I'll have that 7th. Thank you very much, mate. Goes up to 7th and yoinks it away. Munro now in an epic racing sandwich. I don't think he'll find that very epic at all. He'll want to be ahead of that.
He will want to, yeah. Brugman's under constant threat here from all the people behind him. And if they'd stop fighting, they might have a chance to get the top 3, but it doesn't seem like it's going to stop happening any soon as we watch here.
Patilla... Yep. Oh, sorry, I was going to say Patilla's gone off at the final corner again, and Tobias Olsen has crashed out. I think they were unrelated, but Tobias Olsen is then a retirement. Whoopke Hoekstra's off the track as well in 29th position, just rejoined in the MTR car just behind Waring and Pereira, who are battling over 27th. Andrew Waring having an absolutely shocking round 2 with that weight on. The other big surprise or change of position is the YTF1s have swapped places. Ben Hackerson's overtaken his teammate Rob Mason for the final points paying position, and that will be something interesting, I'm sure, as Sven de Vries has got the final corner wrong and has just lost out to Tom Parker and Matt Richards. He'd got round Matt Richards for 9th position. It's not quite worked though, and he's back down to 10th. Parker 11.
Yeah, that's not gone well for him. He's right back down there now, but he luckily is in the reverse grid area, so he could have a chance at reverse grid pole if the numbers are looking for him.
Wow. It could be you, as they say. Choda and Shirenko battling over 20th and 21st. Oh, it is him! Daniel smashes into the back of Sandeep Choda, and that was a wee bit clumsy. And that's really the first time that we've seen 2 guys kind of go off like that, because somehow everyone's managed to tap each other in such a way that it's not really mattered. So that's a shame for the duo.
Yeah, he's lost his rear wing, Tirangu's there. He's lost his rear wing, so generally he's going to have to pit and fix that.
Well, indeed, as Siggy runs out wide in the final corner, and that has given McGlade all the breathing space he needs. And suddenly, the gap's gone from 2.2 to 1.8. So, are we going to have an interesting battle between the ice colds, or are they going to look at championships? I wonder. Siggy third, then Brugman 4, Fournier, Munro, Canapino, Shepherd. Then it's Matt Richards and Sven de Vries side by side for 9th and 10th positions, and Sven de Vries has maybe got him on the exit. The car is skinnier. He's on low-fat milk. And Matt Richards down to 10. Next up for him to defend on is Tom Parker.
Yo, in fact, Parker, he's got it started. Oh, God almighty, that was close. got a bit of a punt there from Parker and a bit of a light flash as well, but luckily that didn't end as badly as it could have.
No, and I think we can say the same for quite a lot of these little argy-bargy moments that have happened throughout. Similarly, just behind that little shenanigan, there's a great three-way going on between Brewster, Mason and Bever, down for 16, 17 and 18. This could come in a points-paying position. This is one of the ones up ahead decide to bin it. Mason keeps it just about for now, but Bever's got Brewster wrongly positioned. Mason is the slowest one down this straight, and once again Cameron Brewster may find himself this time the man that gets boxed in. Oh, Bever braking on the grass. That was lucky for him to get that one stopped in time. Ball to the Bever as opposed to balls to the Beaver or the wall. And he's got that 17th position for now. Brewster down to 18th in the CSG, not quite in the points at the moment, but they've all got round James Kirk, who's down to 19th, which has surprised me. In the triple 20, Strane low leads, still by 1.8, ahead of Siggy, Brugman and Fournier.
Yeah, Strana's just running away with it, isn't he? That's what we've come to expect of him, though, really. We all know how talented he is, and, well, he's just proving it now. But, yeah, we could see McGlade. If McGlade does catch up, might see an interesting fight, but it all depends on whether he wants to have a gut Strana or whether he's going to put his sensible head on, which, you know, knowing Lulu, I think he would, and think, right, we want team points.
Joel Pereira has just overtaken Andrew Waring for 27th and 28th position. It was one of the most let's run out wide with all of my four-wheel smoking overtake that's happened so far, and Andrew Waring's practically pushing Joel Pereira around some of the other corners, but it just has not worked out for Andrew at all. And Joel has been one of the tail guys of the field this season, doing a mighty good job there for the Apex guys in 27th. They've dropped off the back of pretty much everyone else. Chris Butcher's now up to 24th, again not really in contact for points. 29 seconds off the pace as the battle for 20th rages. That's three wide again. Palm Mumuru Palm Muru and Batil. Have a drink, Smithy. As they come down to turn 1 on lap 14 of 15. It looks like Gerhard is trying to get Reinu off the track. Has indeed done so. Martin Palm keeps in the Torrent Motorsport guy in 20th position. Martin Palm been very anonymous throughout this season, and continues to do so here. So
Patel gives him a bit of a nudge there. Not going to be don't want to watch himself. Make sure he doesn't do that too often.
2x2, isn't it, down there? A bit of Noah's Ark. Palm keeps it for there. Batel runs out wide. Muru could quite fancy a little Lungelina up the inside. Choda and Butcher have joined in for fun. And suddenly we've got a 5-car scrap for 20th. No one of them are going to be scoring any points at all, but it's all for honour. And it could all be in the barriers by the time they come out of that corner. Batil gets it from Muru and Palm. Palm there down to 21st, and look at this as they come across the line. They're all on the last lap. We'll join back on the leaders in a second. I'm just interested to see how on earth they'll all get into turn 1, because 5 into 1 may not work. Oh, 3 wide. Choda's going to try and get the lot
gets
of
it
them.
there.
Oh, he's gone out wide though, and I think Palm is going to retake 20th position just out of sheer luck. Let's come back up to the front though, because Eric Strane is coming up to the last corner. He's got Clont and Jones in a scrabble up ahead. Menno Clont was looking particularly evil in qualifying, locking his brakes in every single corner. It looks like he's going to stay unlapped if he can help it, and Eric Strane comes out of the final corner, 2.5 seconds clear. Ice Cold Racing are going to get a 1-2 for round 2 here at Manfeild. Beautifully done. Eric Strane takes the victory. Lewis McGlade, a well-deserved second. Some great overtakes to do that. And 2 seconds clear of Kevin Siggy that gets third for Enterprise GP. And that's valuable points for him. Brugman grabs 4. Jeffrey Fournier grabs 5 for Epic. I think he'll be pleased with that. Monroe 6th and a second THR. Then it's Canapino. Chris Shepherd 8th. Good recovery. Sven de Vries grabbed 9. Matt Richards 10th, with, despite the penalty weight, holding on far, far better than the winner from round 1, so good in comparison. Tom Parker stayed in 11th, was unable to get round Richards in the end. David Junt there grabs 12th in points for Aurora. 13th for Bart de Vos, again lower into the points for Triple 20. Sebastian Fokar back into points for Downforce iZone Racing. They'll be pleased with that. Downforce, of course, a new addition to GPVWC this year. And pleasure to have the Downforce Radio team with us. Ben Hackerson, 15th for YTF1. And then the teammates right behind, actually. Nicholas Bever and Rob Mason, 16 and 17. Brewster, 18 for CSG. Kirk, 19 for Triple 20. Then Palm does hold on ahead of Choda, Butcher, Muru and Batil, who ended up at the back of all of that. Daniel Shiranku, 25th. Then it's Tapper, Pereira. Whoopke Hoekstra then also got Andrew Waring. So Waring ends up 29th after starting from pole. What an awful, awful time he'll have done. Florian Engel 30th, then Jack Mayer 31st, Wesley Morris 32nd, another good finish for him. Eduardo Batalla was 33rd, so pace when he wasn't facing the right way rather. Sam Jones and Menno Klont 33rd and 34th and 35th, and then your retirements were Olsen and Scotty Moore, just the two that time round.
Yeah, a lot of people made it to the end. That's good to see. But that high school racing 1-2, I don't mean to make myself sound psychic, but I thought it might happen. I thought it might.
Are we going to get you a crystal ball now?
Maybe, I wish.
Anderson's balls. Let's see. What could it be? Astral Anderson. There we go. A bit like Mystic Meg.
Quick, I'm going to trademark that before someone else does.
Joshy the Judge.
Oh, that's even better. Let's have that.
Judge Joshy.
Yeah, see?
That's like a Marvel character waiting to... Oh my god, you in a Marvel movie.
Oh,
I think I'd
Lord.
actually wet myself.
Well,
What if you was in a Marvel movie, what superpower would you have?
oh, God, that's a tough one. That is a tough one.
Would
I'd
it be
prob-
being able to drive with penalty weight at the same speed?
Yes. That would be it, because, well, Andrew Waring would definitely benefit from that in this, it seems. Because he's just... That wasn't good for him, this race, but that would probably be a very interesting skill to have.
It would be indeed. I'd like to be able to go at a very fast pace while still carrying weight. Just while we're thinking about your superpower, who stood out for you in that race?
Who stood out? Well, there was a lot of good racing action there. McGlade to get the second to help the 1-2 was brilliant. Fournier and Fitz put on another good show as well. A lot of people actually, lot of people stuck out. Some very good performances. Yeah, I was surprised Gerhard Patel didn't go higher though. I guess the luck just wasn't on his side though again.
No. It is a hard life for Gerhard. I'll give shout outs to Sebastian Foucault, who has got some real pace in that downforce car when it's facing the right way. And having seen how far our Andrew Waring dropped, the fact that Matt Richards did not drop quite so far, I think speaks volumes for that. It also speaks volumes for exactly how Eric Strani was able to keep up with anyone in race one with all of that penalty weight as well, I think. Shout out to Joel Pereira as well for a decent overtake or two on his way to his usual lower end of the points of the finishing order, but actually much more competitive than normal in terms of time difference between himself and the leaders. So we're into the warm-up session for round 3, where the reverse grid between 6 and 10 will be randomly drawn from a random generator of numbers. So we shall look at that. Eric Strane just making a very valid point there that rear-wheel drive cars have extremely good starts, and Siggy just went and proved it quite dramatically by going from 3rd to 1st.
Hang on a minute. Is the reverse grid supposed to be 6 to 10?
I thought it was.
I think it's just been drawn as 11.
I
So
don't
that
know
gives
if
Tom Parker pole.
I wonder if he's taking the mick.
He might be. He might
we'll
be,
see
but
what
Parker on
happens.
pole would be something to see. It was
Ma-
pretty quick, mine, so I wouldn't be surprised if he was.
Maybe it's 11 to 15. It's been a few races since I broadcasted on this one.
Yeah, 6 to 10 seems a bit of a small range, but...
It does. Maybe it is 11 to 15. I just remember I still being sad that it's not 16 to 20. That must be why it's stuck in my head. So, Monsieur Parker is on pole. I'm sure he'll be making an endless amount of foul-mouthed comments in the TeamSpeak.
I think he will be.
Oh dear.
He'll be very excited about that, Paul. Just hope he can convert it into something good in the race.
Definitely, and converting things into good things. What would you say are some of the good things about the sim racing community? Let's shed some love in the world.
Yeah. Well, you got a lovely bunch of people from all different parts of the world. It really just unites the world together in their passion for driving virtual automobiles around a virtual track. But it's just it can help make friends. It can help people make friends with other people, as we've seen from the likes of the GPVWC day, where we all meet up and have a pint or seven and talk about what the next season's going to entail. Except for the fact I've never actually been to a GPVWC day. I need to change that.
You do indeed. The next GPVWC day is taking place in Germany. So I had to check that I actually had a passport that was still in order because it's been so blooming long since I've been abroad. But details of that are available on the forum. I'm looking forward to that. I've never been to Germany, so why not do it with a bunch of strangers? And if you could change one thing about the sim racing community, what would you do and why?
Oh, wow. If I could change anything. Ooh.
Doesn't have to be deep and philosophical.
Quite a vague question when you think about it. There's so many things you could change. Wow. Maybe more reverse grids, or because I like the concept of having more people potentially in the running for reverse grid, but that's race specific, isn't it? When you think about it, so God, it is a hard question. What could I change about the sim racing community? More Geordies. That's something we could do. I don't like being lonely. I want more fellow Geordies and Mackhams. Yeah, have actually something in common with these people.
Excellent. I think the way how you demonstrate more Geordies is probably to have a Geordie horn, so that when actually you do go down, instead of flashing your lights, it just goes "Get out" or something like that. As you come
I can move over.
It would be quite interesting actually to have like a Geordie spotter in R Factor.
It might be, yeah. Like you're going around the track, he's like, "You got a car on your right, mate." I could actually, if there's, there you go. I've just had a grand idea. I think there's a spotter plugin for R Factor, isn't there? I might be able to do a Geordie voice pack.
Oh, Insta downloads, gonna happen. It's a bit like I remember playing around with someone's what are they called? The TomToms, the GPS stuff. They were called TomToms, weren't they?
They were. I think they still are.
Yes, and you'd be like, turn left at the next roundabout. Well, you could get like loads of different download packs, and you could start causing problems with everyone else's. So you'd get to the roundabout, and you'd go, I don't know! You'd be like, well, I don't really know what I'm doing. I put it on for my mother, and she was amused, but then she pulled over to the side of the road and was like, I can't actually handle this. So use that trick wisely.
Definitely, I think it would probably improve our fact of having a Geordie spotter, though. It's something I need to look into.
Well, looking into your crystal balls for race 3, who do you think is going to be potentially on the podium for that one?
Well, I'd be lying if I didn't say Tom Parker doesn't have a chance. I kind of want him to win, but that Parker's on pole, that's going to help him, but hang on, it could help the like of it could help anyone in the top 11 really, but again, I'll avoid saying Matt Richards because of his team bias, but I don't know. I pretty much blagged it last race and said Sven de Vries, so I'm gonna blag it this race and say his teammate Lars Brugman, and hope that it actually happens. As you might not be aware, actually, it was Sven that ended up getting the win last race after Matt got moved down, but
Well, we shall soon see, Monsieur Cristelvo. You've been suspiciously quiet on the Twitters tonight, so I shall love you and leave you all Twitter. But do pop in your hashtag GPVWCs if you do like
Attention grid, all non-essential personnel leave the grid now.
See, that voice could be Geordied up.
Yeah, R Factor man needs more Geordie.
Yep. Well, when I grab R Factor 2, which I'm actually planning to do in the next month, I'll be very upset if there's not a collection of really annoying spotter voices in that. So, quite looking forward to R Factor 2. It's been a bit of a bumper time for sim racers in general, just because of the advent of so many different games. I think my thing is understanding that actually the sim racing community is spread out across lots of different games, making sure that a lot of niches are covered under a set amount of games so that we don't all spread ourselves too thinly. So, penalty weights have been added: 45 to Strane, 36 kilos to McGlade, 27 to Siggy, 18 to Brugman and 9 to Fournier. And we're off on the formation lap for the final round here at Manfeild this evening for the New Zealand part of the ITC 2015 Championship. Tom Parker then is on pole position for CSG ahead of Matt Richards and Sven de Vries. Then it's Chris Shepherd, Augustin Canapino and John Munro rounding out your top 6. Fournier, Brugman, Siggy and McGlade round out your top 10, and he's just ahead of Eric Strane, who's down in 11th, and something tells me that actually that's not far enough away for him to not cause some kind of big drama. And McGlade and Siggy actually busy waving lights at each other. I'm not quite sure what that's all about. They're in the wrong order on the track anyway. It's then Junt, De Vos, Fokar and Hackerson rounding out your top 15 ahead of Bever, Mason, Brewster, Kirk and Palm rounds out your top 20. Then it's Choda, Butcher, Muru, Batil, Giranku. Then Tapper, Pereira, Hoekstra, Waring and Engel round out your top 30. Mayer, Morris, Batilla, Jones and Clont round out your grid, with Scotty Moore not coming back, so clearly he's had too many technical problems.
Ooh, Menno doing some severe tie warming there. He's getting his back right out.
All I can imagine is that he's playing some drum and bass right now.
Perhaps. Maybe.
The beauty of Menno is that whenever you look at him, there's always that slightly suspicious smile that I'm sure means like, very... Oh, what's happened there?
One of the Epics has massively overshot the grid slot. They're on the wrong
He's
side
on the
of
wrong
the track.
side.
Yeah, that's Chris Shepherd. He's just having to try and field his way back through everyone else to get to his grid slot.
Welcome to... that's parallel parking done at its finest, that.
Reminds me of World Sports Series Germany.
Zimmermaries, he's in position, and here come the lights then for the final time of asking this evening. GPVWC's International Touring Cars, go! And off and away goes Parker. He's already got the jump on Richards. Off the line they go. Those first two always side by side on the grid, and they're well clear of De Vries, and then everyone else is like way behind as they come steaming through into turn 1. Shepherd keeps off Munro. Canapino's ahead of Fournier. Strane is still in 11th. McGlade has lost out though, he's down to 12th, so he's not had a great start off the line. And that was the cleanest out of turn 1 so far. Just Sandeep Choda off the track, unfortunately. Further back though, into the S's, there's a lot of bashing of cars, but no one off the track, which is great to see. And it is Tom Parker that leads the way then from Richards. De Vries is third, then Shepherd, Munro and Canapino, and Matt Richards is shadowing Tom Parker quite heavily. I think he fancies an early move. In fact, he's already tapped to the rear of Parker, which I don't think will go down particularly well. Jeffrey Fournier's lost out. He's down to 9th. He's just had to overtake Brugman to get that position too. Strane's passed McGlade, and they've all lost out to someone. It's Edouard Batalla there, who's showing as the lead. That will sort out as they cross the line to start lap 1. But for some reason, Batilla is already classed as having done a lap, and now he's exited the game. So that's the end of that. Parker, though, under defence from De Vries and Richards. De Vries wants to go down and take the pair of them. Had to back out of it as Richards trying to go round the outside. That's not worked at all this evening. So he's going to find himself wrong-footed. But what that has done for poor old Sven De Vries is it's lost him out to Chris Shepherd. Chris Shepherd there had third position, but by his own tardiness through the S's, De Vries has gone back through again. keeps the fourth position, and it's only kind of worked itself out now as Shepherd retakes back third. Parker, though, side by side with Richards for the lead as they come down the back straight into the second last corner. It's the long looping right-hander, sorry. Know your lefts and rights, Miffy. They come out onto this final straight before the last corner. Is everyone still going? There was a heavy lock-up further back. Yes, they are. But it is side by side. Richards versus Parker. Richards goes for the outside. It's not worked for him massively all evening. Parker gets a good exit and will keep the lead as he crosses the line to start lap 2.
Yeah, good start from everyone there. I think it's still registering Battala as being in first place on this overlay here, so apologies for the confusion there. But yeah, it is very much Parker and Richards first and second at the moment.
Monroe, dive of the century. That was a bomb and a half. Practically Hiroshimaed it through into third position. Is he going to be off the track though? Yes, he is. That's the grass. That's the grass.
By a
Takes
mile.
the position, and it's all. He's there to try and judge where he comes back on again, but he's lost out heavily with loads of positions. Through goes both of the Epics, Sven de Vries and Canapino. Monroe rejoins in 7th. He's side by side with Junt and Strane. Look at Strane in 9th position. He may be full of fat in terms of the kilograms of penalty weight for winning too much, but it's not stopping him. He runs out wide though, and that's going to allow Brugman to have a right sneaky squeeze through up into 9th position, which he does so. And that was all kicked off because of how wide John Monroe went. Again, Richards down the outside for Parker into turn finale at the end of lap 2. He's gone the switcheroo though. He's trying to get the upcut into the inside, side by side they go. Parker's seen it coming, but it's a bit too late as Richards got enough momentum down the start finish straight. They complete lap 3 into lap 4. He's going to be last of the late breakers as Parker's going to go around the outside. Richards keeps the inside. He's got it. Matt Richards retakes the lead for Cosmo Autosport, and he's been after that since lap 1, corner 1. Barker down to second, Shepherd to third, and then Fournier's got past de Vries, but in doing so has allowed Shepherd to scamper away by half a second, and that's going to be key if Epic want to get one of them on the podium. Is Jeffrey Fournier now going to play hold you up, loves? I don't think he will, because I don't think they're that much of a team duo together. And we'll see how that one goes. Brewster's up into the final points paying position in 15th, and Sandeep Choda has just retired too.
Yeah, that was a great move from Matt there to take the lead from Tom. I mean, I think we're going to see definitely a good fight on the runs here, but Matt's back in the lead now where he wants to be. I think that's what he needed, just to kick him into life after a slightly lackluster race 2 there, but it's going to be interesting to see if he can catch it and or hold off Strana, because we all know Strana's quick, but can he do it with that much weight?
Well, I'm sure he'll be counting up the points on his Weight Watchers dinner as they cross the line to complete lap 4, and it's 5th position. Fournier and de Vries battling away, proper scrapping it, and de Vries there caught out wide, and Canapino just says, I'll have that, thanks. Augustin has an uncanny knack of being able to just make some of these moves look so effortless, where he just kind of squeezes through. There's no big massive lockups, and oh, there is now. Ooh. Oh, commentator curse! I'm so sorry, Augustin. Down and out of the points he goes. Through goes Fokart, Brewster, Bever. Oh, and he's just clipped the YTF1 car. Which one was it? Oh, it's Hackerson. He's been hack attacked and out of the points in his canopy. Oh, he's going to retire, isn't he? Oh, yeah, what a shame.
Canopino's well off. Yeah, that was a massive shame.
And that all kicked off by just being lent on a bit and going out wide in his attempt to try and keep up through the S's, and that damage has actually spread out a little bit of the field towards the lower end. Domeno Clont has just retired as well, so we've already had more retirements in this race than we have in race 2, and we've equalled race 1, and we're only on lap 5 that we're coming to an end of now. Richards leads from Parker, then it's Shepherd in 3rd, Fournier in 4th, de Vries 5, Monroe 6th, and it's Junt and Strane 7th and 8th, and David Junt will want to keep that.
He will, yeah, he's having a good run at the moment as Dundee. He's having a nice run in 7th, but he's got to defend from Strane, who's, well, having a nice go around the outside. Yeah, gets 2 wheels on the grass. Going to try and make it work at another point, but he's going to have to hold behind now, but knowing Strane might not be there for long.
Right, not indeed. Palm and Butcher just tapped wheels to each other in 16th and 17th as they both look for points, and Strane there is run out wide. The thing for Strane is that he can't solely attack because he's got Lars Brugman all over the back of him, and now Kevin Siggy has just joined in the brigade too, as Gerhard Batil has just retired too, making it 5 retirements this race, and our highest of the evening. It always is race free where it all starts to fall apart. However, what it has done is allowed for Dundu to have to be very epic in his positioning into this final corner. Aurora versus Ice Cold versus Mazurek versus Enterprise. The 4 cars come out of the final turn, and that's looking quite nice for David Junt as he crosses the line. Brugman though has got himself alongside Strane. He is lighter and he looks like he's going to make the lunge down into turn 1. He's got 8th position. Strane tries to go late on the outside. Can't do it. Down to 9. Kevin Siggy's in 10. Then McGlade just popped into 11. He's just passed Bart de Vos. Turned to 12. Fokart is in 13. Brewster is in 14. Bever is in 15. Then it's Butcher, Palm, Kirk and Mason, with Shiranko and Hackerson just about clinging on in the background. Then there's a small gap back for Tapper. So there's 21 drivers battling for 15 points positions, and all of them are going to get it.
Yeah, Matt Richards set the fastest lap of the race when he went over the line there, 1:10.2. Just shows how short the track is, as we've got a nice fight here for 5th between De Vries and Monroe again. So John Monroe's gone right back up the order.
He has indeed. He's been a sneaky Scot, and clearly he has some extra power under his kilt as he goes in to take the inside line into that final corner. If you can get it right and get the camber right, you can get a right fire shocker of an exit out there, and what that has done is allowed them to re-catch up slightly to Geoffrey Fournier, who had pulled out slightly, but he's having to go so defensive into turn 1. That's going to compromise him all the way round. De Vries has got a much better line and much better speed, but Monroe just actually gives him a little bit of a wide berth, and De Vries runs out wide, so that's a good save there. Further back, Strane's got round Brugman, and Junt is down to 10th. He's been absolutely slaughtered by that trio. Strane, Brugman and Siggy all go past David Junt in one fell swoop. The Aurora driver down to 10th. And what those trio will want to do, and it looks like they're doing it immediately, is to try and gap Dundu slightly, because he's going to be looking behind to McGlade and De Vos, Fokart, Butcher and Brewster, as opposed to anyone else. And the top 15 starting to pull away ever so slightly now from the rest behind. My battles now are going to be Parker versus Shepherd. Look at Chris Shepherd. He's on the back of Tom Parker.
He is, he's having a right good go at him here. Back straight is your best chance at a front wheel drive because, well, you've got the speed advantage, but he doesn't get the right line. Tries to force his way down here into the last corner, but Parker still got it.
Great grip out of that, because it looked like he had to take a second stab at the apex, did Tom. Chris Shepherd, though, for the Epic Racing team, they burst onto the scene earlier on last year, as that's Fournier and Monroe side by side. Just behind, Fournier keeps it. James Kirk and Martin Palm have both just disconnected. Oh, so has Wesley Morris. Have we got some kind of issue going on towards some of the connections at the latter part of the field? De Vries goes off the track, though, in the Aurora, and he's just rejoined ahead of Monroe. I wonder if that will be deemed taking back a place that he was going to lose or not. That's going to be an interesting one, because there was definite rubbing going on between the lot of them. Something else has just changed positions as well. It's Fokart has just got past Bart de Vos for 13th and 14th positions, and the downforce iZone Racing driver has had quite a lot of speed but not a lot of points this evening, is desperate for a few more, although Bart de Vos is not giving that up for Triple 20. The sole remaining Triple 20 left in this race, as Kirk has already retired. Our retirements are quite high, only 27 left in this race.
Yeah, not very many left, is there? The broadcast does seem to be...
Sam Jones is stuck in the pit lane.
Ooh.
He's crashed trying to get into the pits. And that, my friend, is what they call a 1 million point turn. as Brugman goes side by side into 8th position. Is he going to defend from Siggy? Is Siggy going to get it? So much locking of brakes by Kevin Siggy specifically. Brugman keeps it. Oh, and Dundu's off in the background. He got caught out there by how they were coming out of the corner, and that has pushed David Junt out of the points. Bart de Vos overtakes Lewis McGlade at the same time and goes from 13th to 11th, with only overtaking one driver. McGlade is flashing his lights as if to say, what's all that about? It's an overtake, mate. Then it's Sebastian Focart, and that is Bever pushing his way past Cameron Brewster. It's getting bitchy now. Cameron Brewster is flashing his lights, and I tell you what, if you've got elbows, they are well and truly out. Strangely though, Andrew Waring down in 21st, he's had no impression in this race at all.
Yeah, he's not managed to quite make the impact he wanted to. Points is a possibility still, can't count him out of that, but he seems a bit too far back to do anything major now, which is a shame, because race 2 really messed his race 3 chances up.
It has. Parker's run out wide from the final corner, as has Monroe in the THR in the background, actually. But this is going to allow Chris Shepherd a real good opportunity.
Oh,
no!
Dear!
Oh, he's going to go off! Is he going to hit his teammate? No! Just about the epic spin.
Yeah, he gets it going again, but that's gonna hurt him.
And that was on the braking phase. He was going for a space and trying to make space in a corner where Parker had already pushed across to say, oh, I'm taking that inside line. Sometimes you can't go more inside than the inside line, if that makes sense. And Chris Shepherd now looking very ragged down in 9th position, just needs to calm it down. It doesn't look like there shouldn't have been damage because there wasn't too much of actual contact. But he just needs to calm it back down there and get himself back into that rhythm, because he was going at mighty donkey pace. And what that has done is free up the front 2 now. Parker then to second. Fournier's just a second behind in third. Then it's De Vries, who's still all over the back of him. So we go from one epic racing battle to another.
Yeah, that's promoted Jeffrey up to third. If he can get third, yeah, I'd be mighty impressed. He'll have done well. He'll deserve that. But he has got Sven De Vries to worry about in that Aurora car there. As we have a Monroe going wide again. Almost going into the pit wall, but managing to stop himself from having a nasty collision there. He's got Strana there in front of him now. Into 5th, you see. Strana up into the good points paying positions like we thought he might be.
Yeah, he is indeed. Monroe there, giving that one away like a candy to a baby. Although he's trying to have a go back through again. The problem is that Monroe, that's the second time he's gone wide in that corner. And well, if he's going to push his way through by the S's, that's impressive, and he's done it. But I think Eric's just like, oh, I'll have a go next time round. That's bizarre. Brookman and Siggy have been busy going at each other so much that they've allowed Strane to get away. It's kind of turned into a bit of an own goal, looking at the short-term gain, not the long-term gain, as to what they could do. Monroe keeps back ahead of Strane, and I wonder how much longer that one will run for. De Vries on Fournier, though, for 3rd and 4th positions. They've taken half a second out of Tom Parker this lap. And so what is now the battle for 3rd and 4th has suddenly become the battle for 2nd, and Parker is looking the raggedest of the 3.
Yeah, and as long as this battle goes on, Matt Richards is going to be able to extend his lead. So that's not going to be not going to help anyone that's trying to challenge him. As Parker,
but you're happy.
Well, we got the top. Yeah, see, nearly gets it. In fact, Jeffrey is into 2nd. So there you go. He's up in the P2.
Beautiful move there by Geoffrey Fournier. It was a bit of argy-bargy and a little bit of light flashing at the end of it. But Fournier is up there for Epic Racing. Parker down to 3rd for CSG. Sven De Vries in 4th for Aurora. The battle for 5th rages with Monroe and Strane. Monroe is run wide again. I think he's done his tyres in because Strane is able to keep diving back through where Monroe can't quite keep it on the black stuff. And that's not grand for him, and we're only on lap 13 of 15, so he's got a couple more to do after that. Then it's Brookman, Siggy, Butcher, De Vos, McGlade and Shepherd. That battle for 10, 11 and 12 is quite brutal. Focart's just joined it in 13th, and it's Bever, and then Junt is back into 15th ahead of Hackerson. Mason, Brewster, Muru, Waring, Hoekstra, Tapper, Mayer, Pereira, Shiranku, Engel, and then one lap down Sam Jones is still going. He made it back out of the pits after all of that, but side by side Parker and Fournier. Parker wants it back. Don't know if this is going to happen down to turn 1 though, because it's doing the wide line and that's not really worked, especially when you've got Sven De Vries giving you a little love tap on the apex.
Yeah, they're still having a go at it. Jeffrey doing some very good defending, but Tom's going to be very hungry for that place that he had not so long ago. And then behind them, if they make mistakes, Sven De Vries says, in fact, speaking of mistakes, not to put the commentator's curse on you there, Parker, but it seemed like he had a bit of a twitch. Sven De Vries will be waiting in line to have a crack at him. Meanwhile, while all this is happening, Matt Richards has gone 5.5 seconds ahead.
He has indeed, and you're so excited, you've gone up an octave. Kevin Siggy's just blasted his way past Lars Brugman. There was an awful lot of door banging, but he's through and up into 6th. Lewis McGlade done a much quieter move on Bart de Vos to take what was 10th position, but has now become 9th, and that is because someone lagged out for a split second. They're back in now. Now he's back down to 10th. So McGlade took 10th from de Vos. Shepherd's still there too. And actually, Brugman has just retaken Siggy into the final corner. So no care given at all as we enter onto the final lap.
Yep, last lap here, all Matt has to do is hold it together, but let's have a look at the battle for second, because there's a lot more action going to be going on there for certain, as Jeffrey Fournier could be P2 if he holds on to it, but he has got the likes of Tom Parker and Sven de Vries chasing him from behind. They'll want it as much as he wants it, so he's just going to hang on in there really, but there isn't much room to manoeuvre.
There isn't at all, and the opportunities are running out. Matt Richards well up ahead, 5.5 clear. It is down to what happens into the final corner. We may be watching a bit cross-eyed as the leader crosses the line and these three dive into the last one. Fournier looks like he's got it, and it's going to be where he puts himself onto that final corner that will decide it. But Matt Richards is approaching that final corner now. Cosmo Autosport, he was on the podium at the beginning, had a dip in the middle, but it's all come right for him in the final race. A majestic win for Cosmo Autosport and Matt Richards, who takes the third win of the evening here. And is it Parker or is it Fournier? It's going to be a photo finish, and it's just Geoffrey Fournier who gets it by less than a tenth of a second from Parker. De Vries in 4, Monroe grabs 5 just from Strane in 6th, again a tenth, just the difference there. Brugman 7th, Kevin Siggy 8th, who actually disconnects as soon as he crosses the line. I don't think he'd stopped. Chris Butcher then in 9th. McGlade is in 10. Fokar 11. Good last couple of laps to him to go up the order. De Vos 12, Bever 13, Junt 14, and Ben Hackerson grabbed the final point for YTF1 in 15. Chris Shepherd had more drama then and ended up 16th. Karen Brewster 17, Rob Mason 18, again just outside the points, forever the bridesmaid this evening. Andrew Waring only 19th and 22 seconds off the lead, so he couldn't quite get himself up the order. He's clearly a man that feels best at the front, leading the way. Rainer Muro 20th, then Hoekstra 21, Tapper 22, Mayer 23, Pereira 24, Shiranku 25, Florian Engel just crossing the line now, unlapped in 26th. 1 lap down, Sam Jones 27th, despite that pit lane shenanigan. Your retirements were Palm, Kirk, Morris, Battle, Canapino, Clont, Choda and Batalla. Whew. How do you feel, Mr. Team Winner?
Well, that was a very good race from everyone. Obviously, well done to Matt on the win. But even Jeffrey, well, I was very, very surprised by Jeffrey. He managed to get second in the end. I thought Parker had that pretty much secured. But, you know, in the end, it seems to be a Chevrolet 1-2 in this sense. And obviously, Epic will be very happy with the fact they've got a second. I think that's the first podium of the season.
Yeah, I think it is as well, actually. They've been there or thereabouts. But that has worked out nicely for them. It's definitely their biggest points haul of a meeting as well. And what was very interesting with that, when I look at the actual championship standings themselves, is that once again, Augustin Canapino, who won 2 of the last 3 races at the Indonesian Sentinel race, continues to rack up did not finishes because he's only taken part in 6 of the 12 events, so that's not helped him out. And with Adrian Holm not here today, Strane has extended his lead infinitely after 3 very strong drives. Sven de Vries will move up into 2nd position owing to Adrian Holm's missing races, and then John Monroe will extend his lead over Lewis McGlade. But with Matt Richards, I think he'll move up into 5th position in the championship, if not maybe 4th, depending on where Monroe and Richards come. That'll be very close because there's only 8 points between them. And the drivers, THR versus Ice Cold, we all know how close that is. So that will continue to be close. And I think Mazurek will overtake. Mazurek will move closer to Aurora. And Epic Racing, they were only 9th coming into this race, and I think they practically got all of the points in those 3 races to what they have in the previous 12. So, let's dragaroo some joyous people in, and let's see how we go. And then if we've got time for some others, we shall drag them in too. Let's have... Let's start off with Mr. Eric Strane, who continues to waltz further and further into this championship lead. It doesn't matter if they put an elephant in that car, you still manage to bring it home in a decent result. Talk us through that.
That's a bit excessive. Oh, elephant, really? Yeah, I mean, it just... I don't know, I was expecting the weight to be a killer, but I don't know, I managed to set up my way around it, I suppose. It worked fine, even though I had so much weight most of the time.
And thinking about how the championship looks as we come closer to the halfway point, obviously your biggest rival, Adrian, was not here this evening, so all of the points that you gained all went quite nicely into the bag.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know what else to say. Yeah, I mean, Holm wasn't there, so I gained a lot, or I defended quite a bit, and Waring had a few bad finishes, so we probably leaped THR in the team standing as well. So yeah, a really, really good event.
Excellent. I think you deserve a drink.
Yeah, I'll take one, sure.
Well done, Eric, and best of luck for Suzuka, which is suspiciously a very similar type of corner layout, so I expect you to be doing equally as well.
I hope so.
Thank you very much. Moving on to Mr. Matt Richards, and I think I'll let your team boss do the interview for that one.
Oh, well, thank you very much, Simon. Well done on the win in race 3, Matt. First of all, got to be pleased with that. That's the second one that you'll officially have this season.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you've had a good race 3, obviously. Race 2 didn't quite go your way, but obviously with the weight from the second place in race 1, did you think you were going to have a crack at a good result, or were you a bit worried the weight might have a bit of an adverse effect?
Well, race 1 was probably the most fun race I had, to be honest. Getting into the lead early was a surprise because I wasn't expecting a good start because of the gearing I had and whatnot, and then just suddenly I was there, and I just made a slight mistake which got Andrew past, and I was expecting him to just run off because he was quicker in practice, but he didn't. So just a very, very fun race and close at the end. Weight didn't help my setup at all. I was trying to push as hard as I could in race 2, and the car just wouldn't do anything I wanted to. It was sliding around and everything, so the people that needed the points I let go and tried to hold on to the positions I could, and luckily came home in 10th.
Yeah, and of course the reverse grid was 11, which benefited you as well. That helped you start second, which is where you finished in race 1 as well, which then you managed to take to the win in the end. And with so a very Strane-esque performance from the end, just running away with it.
Strane-esque? I wouldn't say. He's way quicker than me. But no, it was just fun to battle with Parker at the start, and I was trying to get past as quick as I could, and he was doing a pretty damn good job of defending. So it was a good battle with him, and then just luckily got through and was able to pull away then as the rest of the people battled. So just a good race for me, just comfortable.
Yeah, very comfortable race from Mr. Matt Richards then. Obviously, congratulations on your win. Obviously, you want to go away and celebrate that as any self-respecting race winner will want to do, but thanks very much for taking the time to talk to her.
I think the team boss needs to buy a pint.
I think I do.
Well, moving on, we have Mr. Sven de Vries down at the bottom there of the chat room, and you got yourself into plenty of scraps out there. I saw quite a few quite nifty four-wheel drifts going on, so talk to us about that, because you look like you was getting it from all corners.
Yeah, I'll try to keep it nice. Yeah, I wasn't going to race this round. I forgot to inform Lewis. I've kind of had it after 4 rounds. But I had to get myself on the battlefield anyway for this round. And a battlefield it was once again. And quite a nice scrap with Tom Parker. That was great, and that's how racing should be. Unfortunately, most of the drivers here don't feel the same way. I got majorly banged around in race 3. Miraculously, the car didn't fly off. Thanks to John Munro, he tapped me wide, but he got the position back, so respect to him. Well, finished 4th in race 3. That was the only good part of this race weekend. That's gonna, or it should result into a P3, considering Joffrey just pushed Parker wide in turn 1, and there for me, and then took both of us. So after all, I'm happy to finish the season with a podium result, and that's about all.
Oh, so what's next for you in sim racing terms if you're walking away from ITC?
I think I'm gonna quit all that closed wheel series because it just seems to be all about ramming each other off, and that's not the kind of racing I want to be part of. So I think I'm just gonna stick to Super Cup, as the racing there seems quite clean at least.
Oh, well, best of luck, and yes. Moving on, we have Mr. Tom Parker, since we're going to bounce from one man to another, and you too seem to have yourself full of battles left, right, and centre, namely towards the battle end of the top 10. But race 3, battling away for podiums, a bit more like the Parker we were used to seeing.
All used to see, if only. Yeah, race 1 was good. Someone tapped me off, as you know. ITC seems to be full of everyone these days. Race 2, same driver tapped me off. What can you do? But I still got 11th and somehow lucked into the pole, so quite happy with that. And then race 3, the same driver tried to take me out and failed. And yeah, and then someone else managed to get past, but obviously I think we're going to have to protest that. But like Sven said, I mean, we had a great race in race 2. So yeah, I mean, thanks to Sven for that. That's, like I said, that's how racing should be done. It was, I think at one point we were side by side for the whole of sector 1 and 2, where 2 rear wheel drives, you can't do that. So massive respect to him. And yeah, I got a podium in the end. So considering I got told yesterday I was going to practice, I was meant to be racing and stuff, and rear wheel drive didn't suit the car, etc. Yeah, can't complain.
Great stuff. And it was going back to having issues with the same specific person, getting rammed off, and speaking of what Sven says, do you feel that something needs to be done protesty wise, or to up the penalties of what happens if people are protesting? Do you think that this is just something that it's ITC, it will always be, or do you think that it is time to have a serious look at things?
Yeah, I mean, fair. I mean, hats off to the DC. I know there's not many of them, and they do a tough job. But I don't ever protest things. I don't see the point. I'm half the time. Well, it gets looked into obviously, but half the time we don't get the results we expect. I mean, that's no disrespect to the DC. Like I said, they do a good job, but maybe they need to be a bit more stricter. And like I said, I don't ever protest stuff. But tonight, I think, well, not than that. I don't want to be pushed off in 3 races, overtaken like that. Just because you got a front wheel drive doesn't mean you can push it out of the way. Simple as. We've tried our damn hardest to be here, and you know what? If you're going to ruin our race for us, we'll just protest you. And at the end of the day, we're not the ones getting banned. So, you know, yeah, Parker rages. Lol.
Oh, well, cuddles for that. But yes, I think protest is the way. If you don't protest, you can't say anything. Moving on, Mr. Joshi, I think we've got some joyous people for you to fire some Geordie questions at. Starting off with Mr. Jeffrey Fournier.
Well,
Good evening, guys.
Hello to you, Jeffrey. First of all, very good race too. You must be very pleased with that 2nd place.
Yeah, of course. It's a very good result for me. P6 in race 1, P5 in race 2, and then 2nd place, which is my first podium in an official GPVWC race. So I'm very pleased with that.
Yeah, I think it's Epic's first podium in the ITC as well. So very good result for the team as well. And you had some good results all weekend really. You've had a 2nd place, you've had a 5th place in race 2, and you got a nice 6th place in race 1 as well. So some very solid results overall. And well, that's going to help Epic's standing in the teams championship as well. So Yeah, you must definitely, something must be going right.
Sorry.
Yeah, so do you find the front wheel drives to be quite easy to drive then, or do you think that helps?
We had some issues at the beginning of the season with Chris Shepard, but we worked a lot and made some improvement on the setup, and now we are feeling better and we can fight at the front, which is very good. And we will try to improve at team standing.
Yeah, that's obviously something you want to be doing, and with some more consistent performances like that, I'm sure that won't be a very hard task. Thank you very much, Jeffrey, for speaking to her.
Yeah, it's going to be very hard, but
You can do it.
Yep, you can do it.
yeah, all is possible. We will do our best to improve and yeah, hope to do such good results in the future.
Great stuff, great stuff. And then finally, we have Mr. Jean Monroe, who found new and interesting ways to come out of that final turn. I found during the end of turn. Blah, blah, blah. Where are we? We don't have. Oh, I didn't realise that McGlade was in there. Sorry. Probably because he moved himself in. So we have. Sorry, John Monroe taking final stings out of the final corner. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, well, no, I lost force feedback in my wheel at the start of the race, and I basically, it's just one of those things. It does sometimes happen, but it happened to happen during the race, which was kind of, I was just pushing on a bit, and I didn't quite feel the understeer as much as usual, and obviously I was just carrying slightly too much speed, didn't really feel it, and then went straight on, and it was just me being a muppet really and not kind of taking that into account. But apart from that, it was a pretty good race event for me, to be honest.
And talking to obviously you've got the THR versus Ice Cold battle that was going on. There were some really great battles between you two, especially through race 1, where it was you two as the top 4 drivers on the grid. Obviously plenty of stuff to be taken away from that. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, I feel like we lost a bit of ground today. It was a bit unfortunate. I myself haven't really managed much practice this week for this event. I had real life racing at the weekend, and just really didn't get around to getting down to it, which is only myself to blame. So I was kind of on the back foot, but thankfully my teammate Andrew obviously had put in the work, and he did a superb job in race 1, getting the points for us, and that's of course vital against Ice Cold at the moment because it's so tight up there. But then he accidentally loaded the default setup for race 2. So of course default setup with 45 kilograms, and he just went flying backwards, which kind of we lost some ground there. I kind of scored consistently, but Lewis and Eric did a superb job, especially in that race 2. It was phenomenal stuff by them. So we definitely have some work to do, but we'll get Adrian back in the car, and yeah, we've definitely got a strong team. Get some practice in, hopefully for the next one, and really take the fight back to them.
Grandiose. Any final questions, Josh, before?
Yeah, I think we are going to get Lewis McGlade in for an interview as well, but oh no, we're not going to get him. No, we're not. So no, I guess.
Oh well, sorry, John. There we go. But yes, good luck. Obviously, final next. Start again. Next race is Suzuka. Very similar type of track with all of the S's that are going on around that circuit. Do we think we're going to see Ice Cold versus THR round 6?
Yes, but I hate Suzuka, so it should be interesting. I don't know. I think it's just because I'm driving a front wheel drive and I don't enjoy understeer, and those S's are just going to be literally lobbing into every corner with full on understeer. Especially with my driving style, so it's not looking good. But we'll put in the work, and hopefully I'll be speaking to you next time from the podium instead of kind of that mid top 10 kind of placings. But yeah, I'm sure the racing will be good fun anyway.
Great stuff. Well, thank you very much, John Monroe, for popping in there. Apologies, Lewis McGlade. We didn't see you in the broadcast booth. Well, I didn't anyway.
Sorry, Lulu.
Never mind. Cuddles. Final words of wisdom, Josh, before we sign off for the evening.
Oof, well, that was a cracking night of racing, wasn't it? Yeah, definitely looking forward to Suzuka. perhaps doing cameras if Hinsey doesn't. It was very, very lovely to do commentary and cameras here with you, Smithy, as ever.
Yes, a pleasure to have you with us. It's been a right chortly Geordie drive that's been going on, and we'll be back in 2 weeks' time for the Suzukan round and see if we can actually manage to put 2 broadcasts in a row together. Since ITC's been a bit of the on the unlucky side. Want to say thank you very much to Josh, who has stood in and done some great stuff for us this evening at the last moment. Pleasure to be doing it with the Joshy Washy. You guys will all be with us again on Wednesday or Tuesday for the Atlantic. I think it's Tuesday's the Atlantic. And then World GT on the Wednesday. And we'll be back with Career Ladder next week for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, where you can get your fortnightly need of open-wheeled sim racing shenanigans. Until then, you guys take care. We'll see you soon. Bye for now.